Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Herbie's Garage. Today is kind of a sad day for me. I do not like doing this. I got to put my bikes away for the winter. We've got probably 6 inches of snow out there. It's barely December, first couple of days of December, and it's already like, I don't know, 20 degrees outside. I think we're supposed to be down to close to zero with the wind chill tomorrow morning. So it's time to put some of these away. As you can see, I've got these three here, and then I've got two over there. I've got one over in my workshop shed over there, so I got to winterize them all. I'm going to do a little bit different on some bikes. Now, my two bikes I have sitting back here, my Honda Goldwing and my Life in KPT 400, I'm going to probably treat the gas a little bit, but I'm not going to do anything else to it. I might put a battery tender on it, depends on how long it's going to be before my next ride. But I want to keep these out and ready to ride in case I have a nice day. My Thunder, the KPV 150, and the KPM 200, and my KPX 250, I'm going to put those away for the winter, and I'm going to get them, into hibernation. So I want to make sure they're going to be good and ready to go for spring. Now, today's video, I'm going to be doing the Venom Thunder 125 dirt bike. It's carbureted. It's different than all my other bikes. All of my other bikes are fuel injected. So it's a very simple thing with fuel injection. Carburetors is a little bit different. I'm going to discuss a couple of things, and we're going to do things a little bit different on the carburetor. Now, you may not have this particular motorcycle, but if you have a bike with a carburetor, a lot of this stuff is going to be similar. Now, this bike doesn't have a battery in it. So if you do have a bike that has a battery in it, then you need to get a battery tender and put the battery on a battery tender or take it into your house. And it's best if you do that, if you're not going to ride it. If you got a nice safe area, you could put it like in your basement. Just put it on a shelf or something and then put a tender on it. And you could take it off once it's charged. A couple weeks later, come back and put the charger back on, or leave it on all the time if you trust the battery tender. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to talk about some of the products I'm going to use, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on the Thunder. Now, this is what I'm going to be using to winterize the Thunder. Now, I know that gas can looks horrible. It's got good, clean gas in it. I filled it up. Well, put a few gallons in it. I didn't fill it up because I want to top off my bikes, the ones I'm not going to be riding, and I've got good, clean, premium gas in there. So I'll be putting some gas in the Thunder, and then a few of these other products I'll talk about as I go. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it now. I have Marvel Mystery Oil. Now, I'm not going to use both this and the two-stroke oil. I'm going to use one or the other. Personally, I would rather use this. I'm going to be putting this in the gas, and I'll talk about that a little bit. This is a ashless formula, this TC-W3. It's a very good two-cycle oil, and it will help protect the tank, especially since this has got a metal tank. And it also helps protect your carburetor passages and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be putting the two-stroke oil in it, or if you don't have it, you can use Marvel Mystery Oil. Either one of these will be good. And then I'm going to use marine grade Stabil, and I will be putting in a 1/2 ounce. According to this, it says 1 ounce for 10 gallons of fuel. And so this is going to be a little bit overkill with a 1/2 ounce, but I'm going to use a 1/2 ounce probably in all of my bikes. I have some extra back here. I'm going to fill it, but the marine is the one that I prefer the most, so that's what I'll be using. And some kind of chain lube. I need to lube my chain up before I put it away. All right, first I'm going to go ahead and put in the two-stroke oil. Now, if you're wondering how much I'm going to use, I don't really measure it, but it's about a 1/2 ounce, I would guess. And I want to put this in before I put my gas in. That way it'll mix up really good with it. And then I'll put my Stabil in. I've got about a 1/2 ounce that I added of that. And now I'm going to top off my fuel. Okay, that ought to do it. We've got it filled up pretty much to the top. Put my cap back on. Now once I have it filled up, I like to start it up. And I like to kind of mix it up a little bit. But I like to start it up and run it through, get it all mixed up in my carburetor, make sure your fuel petcock is turned on. I haven't started this bike in a while, so we'll see how it does. Okay, that should be enough. Now I've got the fuel system pretty much filled with everything. You know, I've got the carburetor filled up, the fuel line and everything. What I like to do is I like to take it out and ride it. Like I said, I have a bunch of snow out there. I might go out and play with it a little bit after the video. But you need to run it a little bit to make sure that everything gets circulated and splashed around inside the tank, because that two-stroke oil will kind of help lubricate stuff to stop it from rusting. And if you have a plastic tank, you don't really have to worry about it. But all the passages down in your carburetor, especially around the float, you don't want that stuff sticking and getting plugged up, especially plugged up in your jets. You know, normally a pilot jet circuit is the one you have to worry about because the orifices are so much smaller. So I'm done with that part of mine. Next, what I would do after I'd done ran it and warmed it up and everything, I'd drain the oil. I've already done mine. Change your oil, get all that old oil out from the season and put fresh oil in it. You don't want it sitting all winter with all those contaminants and carbon and everything in it that could sludge stuff up. So go ahead and clean it, change it and put clean oil in it so that your engine's going to be good and clean for the winter. And we'll go on to the next thing. But one other point I want to make is, now when it comes to carburetors, there's two schools of thought on the carburetor. Some people open up the drain and drain the gas out, okay? Now, there's some thoughts, good and bad, about that. One is good, that you don't have to worry about passages getting plugged up because all that old gas is out of it. Another bad is that the O-rings and things could dry out because it doesn't have the gas and, you know, two-cycle oil, whatever we got in it, to help lubricate it. And they could dry out and they could end up cracking and causing you problems. Personally, myself, I like to leave the gas in there. Once I get it treated and get the carburetor bowl full, I like to leave it in there. Now the next question is, do you shut the petcock off or do you leave the petcock on? Well, if you turn the petcock off, eventually that gas is going to start to dissipate. And it's going to get less and less in the bowl. And there's always a possibility things could come up. But, you know, in my experience, I haven't really had much problem with that. The problem with leaving the fuel valve turned on is going to be that if your float does happen to stick, say it's in your garage somewhere and you didn't see it, you're in your house, you know, all that gas could just run out all over your floor. But if you have your petcock turned off, the most gas you're going to get out of it's whatever's in the carburetor. So personally, I like to shut the petcock off. I'll leave my carburetor full of gas, and I don't normally have a problem with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to the next thing. All right, so now we want to check the air pressure in our tires. We don't want to leave it sit with low tires. You got to turn it on and see what we got. Well, mine's pretty low. I don't think you can get much lower than 0. I figured it was kind of low. It kind of felt like it. You know, I squished it and it felt like it was a little bit low. So we're going to go ahead and air it up. And we'll check it again. Okay, we got about 34 pounds in it. That's too much, but since it's just sitting and I'm not riding it, I prefer to have a little bit extra air in it. Okay, now we'll check the rear one. Valve cap was on there tight. Kind of cold in here today. I need a heated shop. That's got 5.7 pounds of air, so I'll put a little bit more in it. All right, let's see what we got. Coming around from this side, it'd be a little bit better, I think. 35 pounds, about the same as the front. Okay, so my tires are aired up. Okay, now I don't want my chain getting all rusty and everything, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it on the kickstand. I'm going to lean it up against me, and I'm just going to roll it, spray the chain, and get it good and lubricated. I don't like using this kind of lube too much on my chains because it does sling off, but I prefer this on my dirt bikes. I'm gonna have a little bit of drip off from that, but I don't think it'd be too bad. I think that's good. All right, let me go ahead and shut this petcock off. All right, so now we've got the gas turned off. We've got the tank treated. We've got 2-cycle oil in it, and we've got Sta-Bil put in it, and it's filled up to the top. Got all the system full, carburetor's full. We've ran it and got it all circulated, and it's sloshed around a little bit, so that's all good. Like I say, my petcock is off, so I'm done with the fuel system. Tires are filled up with air. The chain is lubricated. The oil is changed. Really, we're done other than the battery if you have a battery. Now, this one does not have one, but if you do, make sure to, like I said, put it on a tender, take it in the house with a tender, whatever you choose. Just know that if you have a lead acid battery that has water in it, it could stand a chance of freezing out in the cold, so you'll get more life out of the battery if you take it in, like in your basement or something like that. Okay, one other thing I want to mention is you're better off if you can lift your bike up off the ground and not sit on the tires for months, you know, depending on where you're at and how long your winter is going to be before you ever get around to riding. If it's going to be several months, you're better off putting a jack under it, putting it on a milk crate, whatever you could do to get the tires up off the ground. If you can't, if you don't have that, like myself, I got a lot of bikes and I have to have a lot of jacks and milk crates and stuff. So what I do is I'll come in, you know, like every 3 weeks or something, and I'll just move my bike a little bit. That way it's not sitting in the same spot, and you're not going to get flat spots in the tire from sitting for 3 or 4 months. So just do that, you know, move it forward a little bit. A couple weeks later, come back in, move it forward, and then move it backward. Just kind of keep it moving. Or you could do, you know, just kind of tilt it up and spin the wheel, whatever you want to do, so it doesn't sit in the same spot for a long period of time. And that pretty much covers everything that I do on the carbureted bike. Now on the fuel injected bikes, all I'm going to do is put a 1/2 ounce of Sta-Bil in it, change the oil in every bike. I've already done oil changes on both of those. I think both of these I need to do an oil change on. No, I did this one, but I need to do it on the KPM and the KPX. I've only got 2 more to do oil changes on. All the rest of them are done. But that's all I'm going to do to the fuel injected bikes. Just top them off, put a little bit of Sta-Bil in them, and change the oil. And I got to put a battery tender on them as well. I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to take my batteries out, put them in the basement, put them on a charger, because I did have one fail or 2 recently. Excuse me, my nose is running because it's cold out here. But I got brand new batteries in a couple of these, and I don't want to take a chance on messing them up. So they are AGM batteries, I think. Every one I bought was. So Anyway, that's all I have to do to the fuel injected bikes. I won't show that. It's a simple process. Like I say, the oil change is the only thing that takes any time at all. These two here, they're about ready to go. If it ever gets 30 degrees or above, I'll probably be riding. In the 20s, it gets a little bit too chilly for me to be out there. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Appreciate you coming along. Hope it was helpful. And if you have to winterize your bike, you have to do it. That's just, the way it goes. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and leave me a comment. See you on the next one.